Excellent. Welcome to the TADSummit Innovators podcast. I am really happy to introduce a old friend of TADSummit and TADHack, Surbhi. Surbhi, how are you?
I'm good, Alan. So nice to be here after a really long time, actually.
It's only 18 months because normally Surbhi's like a regular at every TADSummit, but in Paris last year, we unfortunately missed you, but not to worry, we're going to have you back in October of this year. So that's great. So how have things been going with Symbl?
Pretty good. We've been heads down on helping people really adopt both the conservative, deterministic AI, but also generative AI together in a hybrid way and really extract business value out of it. Because as you can see, there's a lot of POCs and playing around happening everywhere, but really
Exactly.
getting something to production has been a challenge for a lot of businesses. So we've been kind of heads down doing that with our
Excellent.
customers, partners, everybody.
That's it, because I'm trying to remember now. Is Symbl, is it 5 or 7 years old now? I can't remember when you were founded.
Right there in the middle,
Oh, it's
six.
six? Because I was trying, you know how it is. But that's good.
Yeah,
Excellent. So then
yeah.
you bring just a massive wealth of experience around conversational AI because you've been in it really from the start.
Yeah, and it's been amazing to get a little head start to the problem statement that we've been solving for. Of course, the market was maturing at the time that we were starting, but the kind of readiness that exists today and the hunger that
Yes.
businesses have to really deploy capital to see value because they believe now that AI can do things
Yes.
which was always there, but the belief wasn't as widespread as it is now. So it's amazing just to be able to build a company at a time where people realize the value and the potential of the technology that you're spending 24 hours thinking about. And yeah, so it's been 6 years. We did launch our platform in 2020, so like
Mhm.
technically platform's been live for the 4 years, but
Yeah.
yeah, we've been putting our brains together to how to really create value for customers using
Gotcha.
AI. And specifically as a developer platform, one of the key pillars of us building the tech stack is how can we make it configurable? How can we make this programmable? How do we make sure that we can abstract away the complexities of the engineering and the ML work that is going to be repetitive for every business
Exactly.
while letting them, create differentiation in terms of their business domain knowledge, the experience layer, and also the analytics that they're driving today.
Exactly. Because I mean, when you say developer, I mean, it's like saying people. I mean, you'll have, engineering groups, development groups within large corporations that want to
Yeah.
get something that they can configure and do something highly differentiated on. You're going to have system integrators that are implementing it for a particular client that are looking at meeting particular vertical needs. And then a whole range of startups that are looking at this and going, "Ooh, that saves us a lot of time," and then looking at how they can implement to launch a product that they can provide a service on top of. So absolutely, I think the timing's good and it's more mature. People just don't think it's a bedroom-based developer anymore. It's a whole host of different potential consumers of the platform that you're providing. So what you announced, I think it was last week, was it? The
Yeah.
unified compliance product. So maybe you could give a little bit of background on how that came to pass. And I'm hoping you'll be able to give us a demo as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I think the problem statement that we were listening from a lot of our customers and about the from the industry itself is uh, future of the workforces are all going to be hybrid as we all
Yeah,
know it, and people are going to use voice agents, human agents, different types of AI within their own ecosystem.
yeah,
But how to really qualitatively benchmark the performance
yeah.
of different entities that are doing customer interaction,
Yes.
right? And I'm just calling like human as an entity and AI as an entity in itself, and they may be more like hybrid entities to come
Yeah,
forward. Who
yeah,
knows, right? But
exactly.
how to give and a lot of the benchmarks that we see in the ecosystem are more around, baseline benchmarks,
Yes.
companies. But every company has such a different workflow and the business and what they truly care about. So it was an effort to bring this qualitative evaluation by enabling business to create their own criterias of what they
Yeah,
care about. The questions that they're asking and the frontline managers are asking, honestly, like, are my agents talking empathetically? And do they acknowledge when a customer is frustrated? Do they understand the urgent need as opposed to solving 3 problems? Can they prioritize well? Just basic things here that are a lot of the frontline managers are coaching constantly their teams to do. And we thought if we can build an API around it and really enable automation of ensuring quality, compliance, assurances across the board, that would be awesome.
Exactly,
Because every business is thinking, differently about they want to benchmark their AI agents in a different way that they want to benchmark humans on. And it's not the same, right? Humans are empathetic by default, but AI agents are probably not. And if they are very over empathetic,
exactly.
we've seen a lot of demos. So how do you do this quality control across the board? So that's why we launched that product.
Yep, and we've had several different companies on where they're using AI with their existing agents to sort of supercharge them, to enable them to understand conversations that are happening around the organization and being able to provide insights that could be relevant to a conversation they're having in real time. So even if it's just a human agent, being able to provide some qualitative analysis around how they're performing with these hints, tips, and tricks in these customer conversations, I think is essential.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and also letting them know what worked and what didn't.
Yes.
Because it's not, it's one thing to provide them feedback, but feedback needs to be actionable.
Yes.
Because if they can't act on it, you can't embed a culture of self-improvement.
Yeah.
And of course, our exposure to the end users is through the lens of our customers.
Exactly.
And, it's phenomenal when we see different industries and different personas and even different functions, but they're all driving towards the same KPI. Is how can we improve the quality of interaction?
Yes.
And that leaves our brand value getting elevated, and that interaction with customers that is very it's long lasting, honestly.
Yep. Absolutely. So with the unified compliance product, what are some of the industries where you're seeing most interest at the moment?
Yeah, we work with a lot of application builders. So a lot of
Okay.
software companies that are building apps on top of telephony or Zoom-like products or Twilio, or even taking transcripts from existing providers and building their own analytics on top of it. So we've seen a lot of app builders kind of use that API and embed custom criterias that they want to create and create almost like scorecards for different personas of their products. So every persona of your product can have a scorecard, and that way you can give them feedback on how they are doing in their conversations. And like I said, quality is such a horizontal thing that we've seen industries all the way from insurance, financial services, even recruiters giving them feedback on the screen interviews that they're doing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's interesting within the sort of space of programmable communications, there's been quite a lot of layoffs. I mean, Avaya just did a big round recently. So there's a lot of people looking for, employment. And yes, some of the feedback I get from some of the people who are using recruiters extensively at the moment. And because of the industry they come from, it's all about the analytics and the percentage, well, not success rate, but you have to sort of take it down to, well, am I even getting a follow-up? It's down into fractions of 1%, and the frustrations with the recruiters, it's legion. So absolutely, that's actually a very relevant one to some of the conversations I've had in terms of improving the quality of interaction with potential people looking to be hired through recruitment agencies. But I'm wondering whether it's possible you could give a demo so we can see this in action.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me share my screen. Okay, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of something that hasn't been released yet.
Okay.
So, this is going to be first. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, applied AI. Yep.
Okay, cool. So, our philosophy at Symbl has been to simplify getting value out of the intelligence that we are creating. So, in addition to the state-of-the-art models that we provide, all the way from generative models to speech models to smaller task-specific models that does entities, sentiments, all of that stuff, we've now built a layer on top of that, which is applied APIs and UI components too, which
Gotcha.
enables you to simplify the use of these models and abstract away the complexities of orchestrating these different AI models together to provide business value on top. So think of this as like a layer on top of the model stack, which can combine these multiple models together to derive value from there.
Gotcha. That's great.
Because I think that's where a lot of the business's journey is the most complex. And product builders and developers and application builders that are consuming these models are always thinking about how do I combine them in a way that can solve my NPS problem or CSAT problem or quality problem.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. And of course, we have these three very repeatable use cases that we have now productized: the real-time assist piece, the call score, and admin analytics. What I'm going to show you today is the call score piece. And this is it's almost like a deployment ground or an experience for business stakeholders that we are going to be soon announcing, where they will be able to come in, log in, upload their calls, or play around with the product. But then developers, once they've set the configurations through here, developers can probably just, copy paste the code and deploy it in application. So that way, a product leader or a business stakeholder can work in tandem with the developers building this application to simplify.
Excellent.
So this is the call score. Just the journey that I'll walk through. It's just for demo purposes right now.
Yeah, I understand.
So we're going to score. So we have options to score a human call or score an AI agent call. And you can also develop a rubric that goes across both the human and an AI call, which is important. So we're just going to select, let's say, sales call, for instance, here. And we're going to build a scorecard for Ellen. And you have the optionality to choose some of the pre-built scores that we have. So you can see like energy, or let's say confidence, but then also question handling. Let's hypothetically assume these. But you can also create a custom criteria. And this is the new aspect that we've launched recently, where you go and create a criteria. So let's say my criteria is prioritization. And to handle multiple queries together, which is always where agents suffer. And then you basically create questions here to be able to, what a QA manager would ideally qualitatively evaluate a call based on whether you did the right prioritization or not. So were you able to identify the topmost priority? Were you able to acknowledge the importance of all the tasks in the queue, but handle the most urgent? And like these questions like that. And these could be any, really, and that's why we created some to start with. Mostly, a lot of the QA teams have this 13 or 12 questionnaires that they already have the manual QA on. So we built it in a way that it's very easy for them to just transform that here.
Gotcha. Understood.
And then you can go ahead and create a scorecard here. And with this 3 questions, I've created a specific scorecard that I will now process the score on. So now what this does is it takes your call, it uploads that, and it transcribes it. But in parallel to transcribing it, it also extracts some audio features, which is critical for understanding the behavior of those criteria.
So what examples would they be of audio features?
Yeah, so like, for instance, energy we're talking about. Energy is a component that is not just reflected from words, but it's also reflected from your tone and the way you're speaking.
Understood.
So now the ability to combine these 2 different features together and really add more context to how we can interpret the right kind of intelligence out of a conversation. So that's why now you see the scores generated here. It's pretty fast to do that. So you can generate, so this is a summary of the score. We generated an overall score aggregated to these. And each of the scores now have what worked and what did not work. So an outcome of this is usually if it's a voice agent that you're scoring this, so an outcome of this is changes to their script. So you can update their prompts. You can
And then see how that impact. Interesting.
exactly. And an outcome to an AI agent is bring these gaps for real-time assistance
Yeah.
through the. So that way you kind of create an infinite performance feedback loop,
Yeah.
not just for humans, but also for AI agents, and continuously benchmark and evaluate them based on
Perfect.
the things that matter to your business, because the things that matter to your business also changes
Yeah.
with time.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'll stop sharing here, but this is just a short sneak peek into
Ooh.
developers can do, and it's all available today as an API. So you can go to docs.symbl.ai, sign
Yeah.
up, and get access. Create your own custom criterias. Use some of the pre-built ones.
Yeah.
Process a transcript, a recording, or a
Yeah.
live conversation, anything, and then generate these scores. We support all the different channels of communication. Uh,
Excellent. Oh, that's really good. And then then it enables, the developer, well, the business really, to then correlate the scores with actual performance as well, because
exactly.
you've got the customer and how they rank and provide feedback. And those two could be correlated as well. So if you're to, say, energy is an important piece because you're trying to be a vibrant brand or something. And then you can ask those questions of the customers as well so that you can get feedback and then normalize the system, because there's always a degree of, well, we've got the measurements we're doing, but how does that correlate to how your customers are?
Yeah.
Because again, there's a societal difference, different countries, but also different segments within the market behave differently as well.
That is true. That is true. And, no system is 100% accurate.
No,
So
no,
you want to be able to take like a multi-touch feedback. And, once the AI system generates evaluation of your AI agents or human agents, you can send like a feedback request to your end customer, end users to then,
exactly.
rate the call on
Yep,
those same criterias. And then now you can see an AI generated CSAT and a customer generated CSAT, and then you can compare the both. And
exactly.
continue to improve even the conversations that your teams are having.
That's
And,
right.
and for compliance specifically, I think some of the key criteria that we are seeing is like, asking of personal information
Yeah,
is a very obvious one, which you
yeah.
don't want your AI agents also to be asking personal information, right?
Exactly,
An agent,
exactly.
your
That's a key one, because that I see more and more people worrying about because of, well, particularly here within the US, people being taken to court. So it's like a
yeah,
TCPA action happens. Your agent asked me this personal information, and as far I've read your terms of service, and you're now using this, in internal training. I didn't give permission for that. So
yeah,
this whole permissioning framework, it's really interesting,
yeah.
and potentially a liability gap.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can define questions like that,
Mhm.
were you leading to identifying personal information? Did you ask, like, how did you combat that question of asking
Exactly. Yeah.
information?
Yeah.
So those feedback, of course, we have other products on the portfolio like trackers
Yep.
that lets you detect like real time questions that are being asked of personal information. So you don't
Gotcha.
have to wait until after the call.
Yep.
Uh, you can know that in
You
real
can
time.
flag it immediately. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but it
Cool.
helps post
No,
call.
that this is, I mean, this takes all the measurements you can do around a conversation to, really significantly more refined level, providing quantitative analysis around these quite soft in some ways, like energy.
Yeah,
It's, but you can now, because one of the companies that's sponsoring TADSummit is Strollid. Well, they're the sort of company behind VCon, virtual conversation. And so every conversation, they basically, it's like a PDF of conversations. And
yeah,
all that metadata they store in there. And this is, I think, a very important source of metadata, as well as,
yes,
of course, all the other stuff you're already providing, like the
100%.
press.
Yeah,
So
I
cool.
agree to that 100%. I think the more enrichment we can do
Yeah.
of the unstructured data, which can
Yeah.
come from either new types of numeric representation of the
Yes.
conversation, extraction of more like entities that matters.
Yeah.
Uh, then there is a whole like actions play because there could be
Yeah.
actions to the business process. to the user, to the company, like the action segment is so huge. So yeah, I mean, I think there's so much work to be done around how conversations are interpreted, transformed, and then used. Uh,
Exactly.
and we're very excited about that.
No, I mean, this is really, yeah, I read through the announcement, it's like, okay, that's interesting. Now I've seen the demo. It's like, oh, this is a lot more sophisticated. So no, I'm looking forward to your TADSummit presentation in October. That's going to be really fun and getting that message out to as many people as possible. So again, Surbhi, thank you so much for taking the time and giving us an excellent demo of your product.
Thank you so much, Alan. Good to be here.